In today's topic, we're going to talk about questions that most parents don't want to hear from their children, like
Mom, how are babies made?
How babies are made.
how babies are made. Did your children ever ask you that? Hi lovelies, my name is Geraldine B. Welcome to my channel. I am happily married with 3 beautiful children, ages 7 and below. And I am also a registered physician in the Philippines, presently residing in Alberta, Canada, while trying to get back into the healthcare system. My channel is all about health, parenting, and finances. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to join this community and let's get started. These tips that I'm about to share to you is based on what I've learned from med school, based on my research, and based on the things that I've been doing presently as a mother of 3 girls. This topic might be a little sensitive for other people, but this is a fact of life and this is all about educating your children. And if you don't want to educate your children about this, well, guess what? Somebody will, and you might not like the end result of that. Tip number 1, listen to your kids' verbal and non-verbal cues. I mean, this is not an everyday question that your kids would ask you, but whenever they ask you this question, pay attention and listen. One day, I was like on my phone talking with this couple who have some sexual issues. And then, of course, I mentioned the topic sex. And my 7-year-old overheard me that while I'm being careful with that word. And then I tried to glance at her and she's like, oh, it's like ding. So right at that moment, I realized that she might have some ideas about that word. So after that conversation with my friends on the phone, I went to her and talked a bit like, hey, what do you know about that word? And she's a little bit hesitant, which is another cue to me that she might have idea about that word is not really that common, or there's something about that word that we're not supposed to be talking, right? And I was like, I need you to be honest with me. Tell me, have you heard about that word before? What do you think about that word? And then she's like, yeah, I've heard about that word. When I was in grade 2, my classmate mentioned that to me and I was like, oh my gosh, these kids these days talking about this in school. Grade 2, guys, 7-year-old. And I was like, okay, so what do you know about that word? And she's like, a little bit confused and shy. And I look at her straight in her eyes, which lead me to tip number 2. Give simple, honest, direct information according to your child's ability to receive that information. That might be a little bit complicated, but I told her that, you know what? Sex is God's gift for mom and dad. I need to emphasize that it's between mom and dad, like married couple. And it involves kissing and hugging. And there's more to that, but I will tell you more information when you're big enough. Is that okay with you? And she said, yes. And so I was like fulfilled right there. I was like, I did my part. Straight answer, no sugarcoating. I answered her question right away. She's not even asking. It's just the non-verbal cues that I have observed in my child. Number 3 is give an honest answer and avoid nicknames to body parts. So we are fan of like, you came from mommy's tummy and then you grow up there, and kids would be confused like, when we eat, food goes into our tummy and the baby's in there as well, so they're kind of mixed up. No, you can tell your children that baby is in a special place there called uterus, and your child is educated early on that age. And do not like use this like, you are from daddy's seed and planted in mommy's womb, and then they're like, am I like an apple or a tree growing up? Like those, it just add confusion to them. You have to call the body parts the exact name and avoid using nicknames or jargon. And personally, what I have been telling my children, which I haven't heard psychologists advise this, but it's just my natural way of talking to my children. They learn right now that sperm comes from daddy and egg cell comes from mommy, and that the sperms would compete and reach egg cell and form a baby. And then one time my daughter like, how did daddy's sperm get into your egg cell, mom? I was like, okay, remember what I told you? I will tell you more information about that when you're big enough. And she said, okay. So didn't like sugarcoat them. They understand fertilization right on this moment and in their own child way. And my 4-year-old daughter is like really proud of herself because I would remind her like, hey Mia, you are the fastest swimmer and you defeated all the rest because you reached mommy's egg cell right away. And she felt good about herself. She's like, I am the fastest swimmer. And talk to her 1-year-old sister like, Olivia, you're the fastest swimmer too. And Ate, guess what? You're the fastest swimmer too. Fourth and the last is make yourself available for follow-up questions. Like, I will always tell my children, like, whenever you have a question about this topic or any question that you might have, you always go to mom and dad. Don't go to the internet. Don't ask your friends about it because they are as clueless as you are. Ask mommy whatever questions you have. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. So that's it. I hope this is helpful. Thank you guys for listening. Feel free to comment down below what is your approach to this difficult question that sometimes kids will throw into us. I know this topic is a little bit taboo in some family, but I am blessed growing up to have a mother who is my mentor, who talks about this topic when I was like high school or elementary. So I am really at ease talking to this one, but you can start it with your family right now, educating your children about this because again, this is the reality of life. I will see you again in my next video. As always, stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye. We'll see you again in my next video. Stay happy and healthy. Mom, how are babies made? Dad, where do I come from?